All right, so get this. We're diving into adventure honeymoons today. Not your typical lay on the beach, sip cocktails kind of honeymoon. No,
Mm.
we're talking zip lines, glaciers, maybe even a safari or two. Our source. A blog post titled, Top 10 Honeymoon Destinations for Adventure Seekers. Thrilling Spots for an Unforgettable Romantic Escape. From My Honeymoon Guide. Published just yesterday, November 14th, 2024.
You know, I was thinking, maybe those traditional laid-back honeymoons, well, they're getting a little predictable, don't you think?
What's really interesting is this isn't just some fleeting trend.
Ah.
Couples are increasingly seeking out experiences that push their boundaries, create lasting memories together, and build a strong foundation for their relationship right from the start. It's a fascinating shift.
I'm all about pushing boundaries. So the blog gives a bunch of reasons why adventure honeymoons are so awesome. Building trust, collecting amazing stories, staying active, and even meeting other adventurous couples. Plus, you get to experience local culture in a way most tourists never do. You're not just observing, you're participating. And that's where the magic happens. Shared challenges. Especially during a honeymoon, can be incredibly bonding. Think about it. You're overcoming obstacles together, navigating unfamiliar terrain, maybe even facing a few fears. That builds a level of trust and communication that's hard to replicate in a typical resort setting.
This blog even has a handy comparison table that really lays it all out. Traditional versus adventure honeymoons. So traditional ones are often associated with a single resort, limited cultural interaction, and let's be honest, pretty standard tourist activities. Adventure honeymoons, on the other hand, they involve multiple destinations, deeper cultural immersion, and, well, experiences you just won't find on a prepackaged tour.
I've worked with a lot of couples who opted for adventure honeymoons, and the impact is remarkable. I'm thinking of one couple who trekked through Nepal. They faced altitude sickness, treacherous trails, and unpredictable weather. Yet through all of it, they supported each other, found moments of laughter, and ultimately triumphed. They came back not just as newlyweds, but as a team, ready to face anything life throws their way.
Wow. Talk about starting your marriage off strong. Okay, let's get to the good stuff. The top 10 destinations themselves. And this blog doesn't just list places. It dives into specific activities that'll get your heart pumping.
It's not just about the adrenaline rush, though. Each destination offers a unique blend of adventure and romance. Take Iceland, for example. The blog describes it as a land of fire and ice. Imagine exploring glaciers and volcanoes in the same trip, witnessing the northern lights, and even spending a night in a glass igloo.
Hold on, you can hike inside a glacier.
Yeah.
The blog mentioned exploring ice caves and seeing these incredible blue ice formations. That sounds absolutely mind-blowing.
It is truly awe-inspiring, and that's a good point. The blog emphasizes the importance of choosing a destination that aligns with both you and your partner's adventure levels. You don't have to be an extreme athlete to have an amazing adventure honeymoon.
Right. There's something for everyone. The blog talks about Bali if you're looking for a slightly more relaxed pace, exploring ancient temples, yoga retreats, soaking up that rich culture. But even in Bali, you can find your thrills. Whitewater rafting, or trekking up Mount Batur for sunrise, for example.
And then there's Queenstown, New Zealand. They call it the adventure capital, and for good reason. We're talking bungee jumping, jet boating, even heli skiing. This blog really knows how to appeal to a thrill seeker.
The author actually shares a personal highlight from their own honeymoon in New Zealand, a helicopter ride over Milford Sound, followed by kayaking with seals. Can you imagine? Talk about an experience that will stay with you forever.
And don't forget the allure of those glass igloos in Iceland under the northern lights. Talk about a unique combination of romance and adventure.
Or how about this? A Serengeti safari in Tanzania, followed by relaxing on the beaches of Zanzibar. That's a honeymoon that blends the best of both worlds, excitement and relaxation.
What's great is that the blog doesn't just stop at the activities. It offers practical information too. You'll find insights into the best times to visit each destination, accommodation options, even transportation tips.
Let's be real. Adventure honeymoons can be a bit pricey. But this blog breaks down costs and gives some smart tips for saving money, like traveling during shoulder season or using travel rewards programs.
That raises a critical question. How do you plan and budget for an adventure honeymoon without getting overwhelmed? The blog post offers excellent guidance on this.
So the blog has a whole section on planning your adventure honeymoon. Budgeting, packing essentials, the whole 9 yards.
They even go into detail about those hidden costs that can sneak up on you. Activity insurance, equipment rentals, emergency funds. Those can really make a difference in your overall budget if you're not prepared.
And they have a really helpful section on travel insurance, stressing the importance of getting comprehensive adventure sports coverage. because regular travel insurance often won't cut it for the more extreme activities.
That's key. It's about peace of mind as much as it is about financial protection.
Okay, we've covered why adventure honeymoons are so amazing, explored some incredible destinations, and even touched on planning and budgeting. What else do we have to unpack from this blog?
Well, they have some bonus tips and safety advice. I'm particularly interested in their tips for sustainable travel. Things like choosing eco-lodges, using reef-safe sunscreen, minimizing plastic use, and supporting local communities. It's refreshing to see a focus on responsible tourism, even within the context of adventure travel.
Absolutely. They also talk about fitness preparation, dealing with weather changes, travel delays,
Yeah.
and packing essentials. They've really thought of everything to help couples have a smooth and unforgettable adventure honeymoon.
It seems that way. This blog post is a goldmine of information and inspiration. What's grabbed your attention the most so far?
For me, it's the emphasis on the transformative power of shared experiences. It's not just about the adrenaline, it's about how these adventures can actually strengthen a couple's bond. You're creating memories that will last a lifetime.
I couldn't agree more. It's about stepping outside your comfort zone together and embarking on a journey that will shape your relationship in a profound way. Now, I'm curious to hear what specific activities have sparked your imagination. Was there a particular destination or activity that stood out to you? It's hard to choose just one. Reading about kayaking with seals in New Zealand's Milford Sound, that was definitely a highlight for me. There's something so magical about being surrounded by that kind of natural beauty. Imagine gliding through those crystal clear waters, the silence broken only by the gentle splash of your paddle, and then suddenly, a curious seal pops its head up beside your kayak.
Okay, that does sound incredible. It's like you're getting a private tour of one of the most stunning landscapes on Earth. Speaking of unforgettable experiences,
Yeah.
we can't forget about the northern lights. Imagine snuggling up in a glass igloo with your partner, a blanket of stars above you. When? Those ethereal green lights dancing across the sky. It doesn't get much more romantic than that.
And for a completely different kind of thrill, how about a Serengeti safari? Picture yourself in an open-air jeep, the vast African plains stretching out before you. You're surrounded by the sights and sounds of the wild, the rustle of leaves, the distant call of a lion. And then there they are, lions, elephants, giraffes roaming free in their natural habitat. That's an adventure that would stay with you forever.
You're making me want to book a flight right now. But before we get too carried away, let's talk about some of the practical advice the blog offers. They have a whole section on budgeting, even breaking down the sample budget for an adventure honeymoon.
That's so important, especially when you're considering a honeymoon that involves multiple destinations and activities. The blog suggests allocating roughly 30% of your budget to flights, 25% to accommodations, another 25% to activities, and the remaining 15% to food, extras, and a little cushion for an emergency fund.
I really like how they emphasize that emergency fund. You just never know what might happen, especially when you're exploring new places. And maybe stepping outside of your comfort zone a bit.
Absolutely. And they also highlight the benefits of traveling during shoulder season. You can often snag better deals on flights and accommodations, and you'll avoid those massive crowds, which can really enhance the experience, especially if you're looking for a more intimate and off-the-beaten-path honeymoon.
That's a great point. And speaking of saving money, they also mentioned utilizing travel reward programs and looking for package deals that bundle flights, accommodations, and even some activities. You could potentially save a significant chunk of change that way.
They also caution against overlooking those hidden costs, things like activity insurance, equipment rental, tips and gratuities. Those can add up quickly if you're not careful. It's best to factor those into your budget from the very beginning to avoid any surprises later on.
They even recommend checking for altitude restrictions in your travel insurance if you're planning any high-altitude activities, like trekking or mountain climbing. It's those little details that can really make a difference.
Speaking of details, they also provide a pretty comprehensive packing list. Technical gear, appropriate clothing, documentation, they cover it all.
I found that list incredibly helpful. They even included things like a headlamp, a GPS device, quick dry towels, and a first aid kit. It's a good reminder that packing for an adventure honeymoon, well, it's a bit different than packing for a typical beach vacation.
They also stress the importance of packing appropriate layers, especially if you're traveling to destinations with unpredictable weather. Moisture-wicking layers, a rain jacket, thermal layers, and even adventure-appropriate attire. Being prepared for anything Mother Nature throws your way, it's key.
And of course, they didn't forget about the romance. They suggest planning surprise activities for your partner. scheduling downtime for relaxation and connection, and maybe even booking a private experience or two.
I love their emphasis on creating a honeymoon that reflects both your adventurous spirit and your desire for intimacy. It's about striking that perfect balance between excitement and romance.
And speaking of romance, what about creating those lasting memories? The blog has a section on photography tips, documentation ideas,
Yes.
and even using apps to capture those special honeymoon moments.
It's a great reminder that your honeymoon isn't just about the experiences themselves. It's about the stories you'll tell and the memories you'll cherish for years to come.
They even suggest starting a travel journal, creating a shared photo album, and writing down daily highlights. It's like creating a personal time capsule that you can revisit whenever you want to relive those special moments.
And perhaps most importantly, they encourage couples to embrace the unexpected. They remind us that challenges are inevitable, especially when you're venturing off the beaten path. But those challenges can also be opportunities for growth and bonding.
It's not about avoiding challenges altogether. It's about facing them head-on with your partner and coming out stronger on the other side. Okay, let's dive into some of the specific destinations and activities that the blog highlights.
Perfect. Each one offers a unique blend of adventure and romance, catering to a wide range of interests and skill levels. Why don't we start with New Zealand? The blog refers to it as nature's adventure playground.
I can see why. It's known for its stunning landscapes, snow-capped mountains, pristine beaches, lush rainforests. It's like something out of a movie.
And the activities are just as diverse. They suggest everything from skydiving over Lake Taupo to bungee jumping in Queenstown to hiking the Tongariro Crossing. For those who prefer a more serene experience, there's glacier walking in Franz Josef or whale watching in Kaikoura. It's really a choose-your-own-adventure kind of place.
They even suggest taking a road trip along the country's scenic highways, stopping at charming towns, and exploring hidden gems along the way. It sounds like the perfect way to experience the beauty of New Zealand at your own pace.
Next on the list is Costa Rica, which they aptly describe as rainforest romance. It's a paradise for nature lovers, with lush rainforests, active volcanoes, and those picture-perfect beaches.
You had me at active volcanoes. What kind of adventures are we talking about here?
Wow. They recommend zip-lining through the rainforest canopy in Monteverde, surfing in Tamarindo, and even taking night wildlife tours to experience the rainforest after dark. It's a completely different world when the sun goes down.
And for a truly immersive experience, they suggest staying in treehouse lodges nestled high in the rainforest canopy. Talk about a honeymoon with a view.
Speaking of breathtaking views, let's move on to Iceland, the land of fire and ice. It's a place where glaciers and volcanoes coexist, creating a landscape that's unlike anything else on Earth.
It's almost otherworldly, isn't it? What kind of adventures await in Iceland?
Well, they recommend chasing the northern lights, of course, but also exploring ice caves, hiking on glaciers, and even taking volcanic crater tours. And no trip to Iceland would be complete without a visit to the Blue Lagoon, that famous geothermal spa.
I've heard amazing things about the Blue Lagoon. It sounds like the perfect way to relax and rejuvenate after a day of exploring.
They also suggest renting a 4x4 vehicle to explore the country's rugged interior. You could venture off the beaten path to discover hidden waterfalls, hot springs, and breathtaking vistas.
That sounds like an adventure in itself.
No.
Okay, what's next on our list of incredible honeymoon destinations?
Well, for those seeking a blend of adventure and spirituality, they recommend Bali, Indonesia. They call it a tropical adventure paradise. And for good reason.
Bali has always been on my travel bucket list. What kind of adventures can we expect there?
They suggest activities like trekking up Mount Batur for sunrise, scuba diving in Nusa Penida, and whitewater rafting. And of course, no trip to Bali would be complete without exploring ancient temples and those iconic rice paddies.
It's a place where you can connect with nature, immerse yourself in a rich culture, and even find a bit of inner peace. What could be better for a honeymoon?
Next up, we have the Swiss Alps, a mountain adventure haven that offers year-round thrills.
The Swiss Alps. That sounds incredibly romantic. What kind of adventures are we talking about?
They suggest activities like paragliding over snow-capped peaks, mountain biking through alpine meadows, rock climbing challenging cliffs, and even skiing or snowboarding down world-class slopes.
It sounds like a dream come true for anyone who loves the mountains.
They also recommend staying in cozy mountain chalets, enjoying hearty Swiss cuisine, and taking scenic train rides through the breathtaking mountain passes. It's a honeymoon that combines adventure with the charm and elegance of Switzerland.
Okay, this list is just getting better and better. What else do we have?
Well, no list of adventure honeymoon destinations would be complete without Hawaii, a Pacific adventure paradise that offers a unique blend of volcanic landscapes, tropical rainforests, and those iconic beaches.
Hawaii is classic for a reason. It's a place where you can truly have it all.
Exactly. They recommend activities like hiking active volcanoes on the Big Island, surfing on the legendary North Shore of Oahu, kayaking along the Napali coast of Kauai, and biking down the slopes of Haleakala Volcano on Maui.
Wow, those are some serious adventures.
And for those seeking a more relaxing experience, there's always snorkeling in crystal clear waters, swimming with sea turtles, and simply soaking up the sun on some of the world's most beautiful beaches. It's a honeymoon that offers the perfect balance of adventure and relaxation.
I'm starting to see a theme here. These destinations offer something for everyone, whether you're a hardcore thrill seeker or someone who prefers a more laid-back approach to adventure.
You're absolutely right, and that's what makes this blog post so valuable. It caters to a wide range of interests and preferences.
Speaking of diverse interests, what's next on our global adventure?
Next on the list is Tanzania, an African safari adventure that offers a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to witness the incredible wildlife of the Serengeti.
A safari. Sign me up. That's something I've always dreamed of doing.
They recommend taking a safari through the Serengeti National Park, of course, but also trekking up Mount Kilimanjaro, exploring the Ngorongoro crater, and even taking a hot air balloon ride over the vast African plains.
Imagine floating above the Serengeti, watching the sunrise over the African landscape, herds of animals moving below. That's a memory that would stay with you forever.
Absolutely. And after your safari adventure, they suggest spending a few days relaxing on the pristine beaches of Zanzibar, snorkeling in coral reefs, swimming with dolphins, and experiencing the rich Swahili culture. It's a honeymoon that combines adventure with the exotic allure of Africa.
It sounds like the perfect blend of excitement and relaxation. Oh, okay. What else is on this amazing list?
For those seeking a truly unique and unforgettable experience, they recommend the Norwegian fjords. They describe it as a Nordic adventure paradise that offers breathtaking scenery and a sense of tranquility. That's hard to find anywhere else.
The Norwegian fjords. Now, that's a destination I haven't heard much about. What kind of adventures await there?
Well, they suggest kayaking through those serene fjords, hiking to panoramic viewpoints, and chasing the northern lights in winter. You can even take a cruise along the Norwegian coast to experience the beauty of the fjords from a different perspective.
I'm already picturing myself paddling through those calm waters, surrounded by towering cliffs and cascading waterfalls. It sounds incredibly peaceful.
They also recommend staying in charming fjordside villages, experiencing the warmth of Norwegian hospitality, and indulging in delicious seafood, fresh from the icy waters. It's a honeymoon that will leave you feeling refreshed and rejuvenated.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground here. Have we reached the end of our list yet?
Almost. We have 2 more incredible destinations to go. Next up is Queenstown, New Zealand, which they dub the adventure capital of the world. It's a place where adrenaline junkies can find their fix, and nature lovers can revel in the beauty of the surrounding mountains and lakes.
Queenstown, I've heard it's absolutely breathtaking.
It is. They recommend activities like bungee jumping, jet boating, whitewater rafting, skydiving, canyon swinging, and even hilly skiing. If you're looking for a honeymoon that will get your heart racing, Queenstown is the place to be.
Wow, they weren't kidding when they called it the adventure capital. But what if you want to take a break from all that adrenaline?
Well, they suggest taking a scenic gondola ride to the top of Bob's Peak for panoramic views of the town and surrounding mountains. You can also indulge in delicious food and wine at award-winning restaurants and enjoy the lively après-ski scene.
It sounds like the perfect mix of adventure and luxury.
And last but not least, they recommend the Canadian Rockies, a mountain romance destination that offers stunning scenery and a sense of wilderness that's hard to find in more developed parts of the world.
The Canadian Rockies. I've always wanted to visit.
It's truly a special place. They suggest activities like canoeing on Lake Louise, hiking through pristine forests, spotting wildlife like bears and elk, skiing or snowboarding down powdery slopes, and soaking in natural hot springs surrounded by snow-capped peaks.
Okay, you're speaking my language now. Canoeing on a crystal clear lake, surrounded by mountains, maybe even spotting a bear or two in the distance. That's my kind of adventure.
Yeah. They also recommend staying in cozy mountain lodges, enjoying hearty Canadian cuisine, and experiencing the warmth of Canadian hospitality. It's a honeymoon that combines adventure with a sense of peace and tranquility. That's hard to find in the hustle and bustle of everyday life.
It sounds absolutely magical.
It's remarkable how each of these destinations offers a unique blend of adventure and romance, catering to a wide range of interests and preferences. It's like they've curated a collection of experiences designed to create lasting memories
Wow.
and strengthen the bond between newlyweds.
And what's so impressive is that they don't just list the destinations and activities, they provide valuable insights, tips, and advice to help couples plan and execute their dream adventure honeymoons.
Exactly. They cover everything from budgeting and packing to safety precautions and sustainability tips. It's a truly comprehensive guide that empowers couples to embark on their honeymoon adventures with confidence and excitement.
It's inspiring to see how adventure honeymoons are becoming increasingly popular. It's a testament to the transformative power of shared experiences and the desire to embark on a journey of a lifetime together.
And with that in mind, why don't we wrap up this deep dive by reflecting on the key takeaways and considering what resonates most with us personally.
I'm eager to hear your thoughts. What has stood out to you the most from this exploration of adventure honeymoon destinations?
For me, it's the reminder that adventure isn't just about adrenaline-pumping activities. It's about embracing the unknown, stepping outside your comfort zone, and creating memories that will last a lifetime. It's about connecting with nature, experiencing different cultures, and pushing your limits both physically and mentally.
I couldn't agree more. It's about embracing the journey, the challenges and the triumphs, and sharing those experiences with the person you love. What about you? What has resonated most with you? Honestly, the sheer variety of options. That's what's really blown me away. I mean, we went from scaling glaciers in Iceland to spotting wildlife on the Serengeti, from ziplining through rainforests in Costa Rica to cozying up under the northern lights in a glass igloo. It just shows that adventure, well, can mean so many different things to different couples.
It's a crucial point. You know, there's this misconception that adventure honeymoons are only for like those hardcore adrenaline junkies. But as we've seen, it's really about finding what excites you as a couple, whether that's hiking a mountain
Right.
or exploring a new city or even trying a local cooking class together.
And the blog does a great job of highlighting that flexibility. They even had tips for couples who might have different comfort levels when it comes to adventure,
Yeah.
like alternating activities or finding options with adjustable difficulty. Nobody should feel pressured to do something that makes them uncomfortable just because it's labeled adventurous.
Exactly. The goal is to create a shared experience that you'll both treasure, not to force anyone outside of their limits. And that brings me back to something that keeps resonating with me. It's not just about seeing incredible places. It's about, you know, doing it together, building those early memories as a married couple.
And facing those inevitable challenges together, which the blog talked about quite a bit, whether it's navigating a foreign city or dealing with unexpected weather, those moments can actually strengthen your bond in a way that just lounging on a beach might not.
It's about building resilience as a couple, learning to support each other, and realizing that you can handle whatever comes your way, which is a pretty solid foundation for a marriage, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. So what's the biggest takeaway for our listener today? What do we want them to walk away thinking about?
If I had to sum it up, I'd say this. An adventure honeymoon isn't just a trip. It's an investment in your relationship, in creating shared memories, and in starting your marriage off with a sense of excitement and possibility. And as we've seen, there's an adventure out there for every couple, no matter your budget, interests, or comfort level.
I love that. So listener, as you're planning your own honeymoon, here's a thought to leave you with. Out of all the amazing activities we discussed, which one sparked the most excitement for you? And why? Hold on to that feeling, because that spark is what's going to make your honeymoon truly unforgettable. We'll include a link to that original blog post in the show notes so you can explore these destinations even further.
And remember, this is just the beginning of your adventure together.
Happy planning, and congratulations on your upcoming wedding. Go create your own unforgettable adventure honeymoon.